Afternoon all, how we doing? Afternoon Diamond, Peter, Franco. Just watching this CAD Swiss really annoy me. God, this thing won't come down, will it? The Swiss franc is in a bad way at the moment. Afternoon, Frank. G'day. Yeah, just scaled out a little bit on that. Just took a little bit off of that one and entered a new position up here. So I've two scale outs on this so far. I can't get a breakdown on it. It's like a thing possessed at the moment. Propulsion gaps like cutting through butter. Look, just like yep, not interested. So yeah, Swiss franc not happy at the moment, is it? That news from the SNB really upset it. Markets lost a bit of confidence in the Swissy at the minute, but that will come back. You watch. Won't be long. The Swissy will just go boom. So this morning, I banked some. What did I bank this morning? Pound US dollar. Took that one off. I've still got two positions on that. I'm in profit, but I've taken one off because we're at ADR basically. So we're sitting in a propulsion gap at ADR. You can see my TP was initially in this propulsion gap from that trade there. I added that trade back on, so that one that I took off there is exactly the same trade. So recap, rewind, took a trade, got out, added it back, got out, added it back, got out. Rinse, repeat, keep profiting until the thing actually goes where you expect it to go. So yeah, this propulsion gap obviously is the area that I've been targeting, and we've slammed through it today. But I got taken out on a trailer and it's dropping again, so I don't really care about that one. It's fine. CAD Swiss, yeah, as I say, took a little bit of a loss on that. It's only $70 or something. The DAX opening range breakout this morning was lovely. So the ORB on the DAX was there. So there's your 15-minute opening range. That's my entry. There's my add-on, which is 100, just over 100 pips, or 10 pips rather. And there's my exit on the pullback. It went a little bit lower, not a lot. This yesterday's low was where I said, remember with this morning when I said, we go down, we've got this level here, which is an old level. I said, if we break that level, next target is going to be yesterday's low, which is what they've just swept. So it managed to get through there, a little bit of a bounce, but it got through there quite convincingly. So obviously that's the next target, which is where we are currently bouncing. So I got out. I basically put the trailer on when we got here because I was expecting that to be the bounce, and it did bounce obviously, but it actually went and actually swept the low as well. So I'm happy with that one this morning. And I got out of euro pound as well this morning. Blimey. So that was that one there. So again, that was a 3-position scale in. Got out of 2 of them, and then that's that one there. And I've got one here, which we're up at 125 ADR at the moment, so I'd expect to come down into this propulsion gap before the next leg up. So I will add on again down here, potentially actually. Was it 31 pips is half an ADR? So yeah, as long as we get a reversal alert on M5 somewhere in this propulsion gap, I'll get a second position on that one as well for another long. But I would expect the Swiss franc to power up a little bit. So this is euro pound. Sorry, wrong one. I was thinking euro Swiss. So yeah, that's fine. As long as it comes down into here somewhere, I'll add a second position. So that's where I am. Banked 0.5% so far. US dollar CAD's in profit with one. This one, but it's struggling. We are really struggling with this US dollar CAD at the moment. New Zealand dollar yen I got into this morning. I've only just got into that, so it's not gone anywhere yet. Posted that one in the channels and stuff. Euro pound I've looked at. Aussie New Zealand is in profit. It's been in profit all morning. It's just not going anywhere, so waiting on that. I'm hoping we get an ADR hit on that. I'm looking to get out here. So this area there where we broke, I'm looking for a retest of that. It's within ADR, so I'm not getting greedy on this. However, long term, if this is the pullback, we're going to come down and challenge the lows. I'm not that greedy, and this is a prop account, and I need to pass the evaluation, so I'm not going to stay in it that long. But the evaluation could well be over by the time I actually get down there, so yeah, not going to hold it that long. And CAD Swiss, which is doing my head in. The reason I'm in CAD Swiss is because of sentiment on the CAD Swiss. So it's a massive short, CAD Swiss, and from the bias perspective as well. CAD Swiss, where are we? Is it's not as short now actually, but the bias hasn't changed yet. We've had this bias on side on this pair for days, and this one's really holding on. If you look at the historical retail sentiment for the, I've redone this section by the way, so it loads faster. So we load in the majors, all the US dollar pairs, and then you can select individuals. So if we look at the CAD pairs and CAD Swiss, yeah, they have been massively long on this thing for days. And they're starting to exit their long positions now, which doesn't help me because I want them to keep long as we can, because we should have that dropping the other way. But as I say, this Swiss franc, something's switched on this fundamentally on the Swissy. So it's a tricky one at the moment. But what goes up and gets extended must come down. We haven't had a profit take. So this move started on that reversal alert. Ignore that, because that's a gap, a broker gap on the weekend swap. So if you look at this, literally, it hasn't stopped. We haven't had a profit take move on this entire 4-day run. So Swiss franc's got to power up soon. Nothing's got to do anything, obviously, but you would expect it. So NASDAQ, we'll look at the opening range breakout. So we've just opened on the NAS. So we'll watch that for the 5-minute and 15 opening range. Afternoon ladder, afternoon Sancho, Sagar. All your fundamental sections on the website is awesome. Very useful info in one place. Cool. Got a taste of 5 pairs. Franco, got a taste of 5 pairs. Did well, 3% of bankroll. Yes, I have missed you all. Excellent. I just hope this CAD Swiss doesn't turn into a squeeze. We haven't even got extended on the RSI yet, so you know, I'm just waiting to get an extension. But there is a danger we're going to come up and retest these highs, which, you know, it's over an ADR away. So I don't know. We'll see. Nothing I can do. I'm in it, and I will keep scaling out of it if it keeps going. Afternoon, Cam. So we'll watch this opening range and see where we go. ADRs today. I'm just going to watch the Dow as well, just to see what the Dow gets up to. See if we get that divergence across these again. Yeah. We might find divergence starts to settle in now because we've also got obviously earnings unraveling at the moment. So it's earnings fortnight. Excuse me. So we will see differences with the indices becoming a little bit more prominent as the earnings kick in. So today we had 3M, GE, and Johnson's pre-market as well as Verizon, and we've got Microsoft after market and AMC. AMC is The Walking Dead. Intuitive Surgical. Don't even know who they are. Obviously quite important. Robotic systems for assisting minimally invasive surgery. Gastric band bots. Something like that. Okay, it's not too bad of an opening range on the NASDAQ today. We are divergent, obviously, so we are bullish and bearish at the same time, which doesn't help. ADRs today, we've got a few to look at. Euro pound. I'm obviously long on this, so I haven't taken a short on it, but it is an ADR hit to the upside. Obviously, the pound was weak. We had this lovely big move that happened in London. So we've gone straight up to 125 ADR. If you have a look at where we actually hit, we've run straight into potential resistance, which it's sitting at now. Didn't really pay any attention to that propulsion gap at all. So this just shows you how strong that move is. So obviously from a fundamental basis, euro pound, we are looking for long trades on the euro pound. So it is a buy. Most of that though is on COT and sentiment, which is fine because I'd much rather have COT on side. That's why I give it such a high weighting, because I think it's one of the most important things you need, and obviously trading against the rest. So the fundamentals are pretty mixed on it at the moment, but it's more of a long than a short, so I wouldn't be interested in shorting that one. We've also got pound odd and pound CAD, pound New Zealand, and pound US. So pretty much everything pound. So pound odd hit to the downside. So if you look at all the pound pairs, they're all sells. Everything's a sell on the pound at the moment. Apart from euro pound, which is a buy, obviously, because it's the inverse pair. But everything's a sell. Pound odd, pound New Zealand, pound US are the strongest of the three. The rest are strong, fundamentally short. However, there is no COT on side or retail on those. So pound New Zealand and pound US are the ones that I'm concentrating on. And obviously pound US is the one that I'm short on and have been milking for the last 4 days. But if you look at all of them, they're all hit to the downside. So you've got a nice ADR bounce there on the pound odd, straight off of ADR. However, I would be looking for shorts rather than longs on it. So up to you if you want to try and mean revert that. Pound CAD's 125. You've just had a reversal alert on that on M5 down at 125. So you didn't get in it until there. That's where you'd be headed back up into that propulsion gap, which is the Asian low, or potentially yesterday's low. So you've got two levels there to watch, yesterday's low and the propulsion gap. So there is a possibility of a push up there if you are bullish pound, which I'm not. Pound Swiss didn't hit, pound yen didn't hit, pound New Zealand hit. Again, this is a short. I posted this one on Telegram and in the social channels, basically. This reversal alert up here on M15 on Thursday last week, in line with pound New Zealand combined sentiment being the shortest thing in the world and the bias being huge, -9. Lovely trade. I traded this down to about there. I can't remember where it was. I got out in pound New Zealand. I got out obviously way too early because that's what I do. I like money. Those two. There's three. I think there's another one. Yeah, there. Yeah, so those are the £3 New Zealands I took. That one, which I broke even on, and those two were profit. Obviously, and these were all sentiment trades as we were pushing up. RSI extended on the hourly, I think these were. Yeah. Hourly RSI extension I got in a couple of sentiment trades there as well, look, off of that RSI extension. So all good. And pound US has hit ADR to the downside. Obviously, I'm short this, so I wouldn't be taking this one long because I'm short. Again, combined sentiment on the pound US. We got caught short. Retail is positioned the opposite direction, but the bias is the strongest set out there at the moment. As soon as retail switch the other side, will be minus 12. And that is pretty much max. Minus 14 is the maximum score on the bias scorecard. So that's about the strongest sell you're going to find out there at the moment. However, US dollar's not really playing ball at the moment, is it? So that's all your ADRs hit. Just watch the NAS. So your 5-minute opening range on the NAS is there. Your 10-minute is virtually the same. Let's see what the Dow's up to. Yeah, got its divergence again on the Dow. Look. Really out of sync, this thing at the moment. Really out of sync. Not used to being quite so out of sync, and it really screws you up because you don't know which is in charge. Usually it's the Dow. So, but we've seen yesterday, for example, it was the opposite, wasn't it? The Dow was pulling down, the Nasdaq was pushing up, and then the Dow started to move up. The Nasdaq just went into accumulation, and as soon as the Dow broke that high, pop, the Nasdaq flew, and we traded the Nasdaq long yesterday, didn't we? Which is a lovely breakout, opening range breakout. So let's see if we can get the same again today. That'd be very nice. Sonny, I don't know if you're in here. You're obviously posting lots in the Telegram group. You might want to tone the colors back on your chart. I really can't make out anything that's going on your charts. You really need to be able to see the price action. You can't see anything. It's just blocks everywhere. If it's working for you, though, keep going. I don't know. I like my charts a little bit more pastel so I can see what the hell's going on. Okay, so NASDAQ, we've just broken the 5 and the 10. So if you are trading 5 and 10-minute opening range, you are long. I'm waiting for 15 at the moment. So, wow, big pop there on the Dow. We'll have a look at the RSIs in a minute. There's probably going to be a few RSI extensions at the moment. Might bank some more of this as well today. I just want to get some money in the bank to deal with this CAD Swiss in case this pushes. It's not a lot of money, but it's I just don't like that being quite so big. I've got 4 positions on it now. Two lots short. We've got 3 minutes. Let's have a look at the RSIs while we're waiting for that candle to close. So there's a few to look at. My charts are wrong. Since I mucked up my charts this morning, just adjust these. There we go. That's what I need. I pushed the tile button this morning and tiled all of my charts. So annoying. So I've got rid of the tile button. Now it's gone. So RSIs, 4 hours. I think these are the same as this morning, aren't they? Pound odd. Yeah, pound odd extended to the downside. It's a short. So up to you if you want to mean revert it. It's not a bad spot. I mean, it's a lovely support bounce potential. ADR hit today as well. But you are trading counter trend and counter sentiment on this, counter fundamentals, counter everything. So it's a risky one, but it could well bounce. You haven't had a rest, have we? But then again, we didn't have a rest going up. But this is literally an A shape. This is a textbook A shape recovery trade, false move. So basically, we're back to accumulation So balance, price discovery, failure, balance. Either way, it's likely to have a bit of a pullback from there. Pound New Zealand will be the same. Pound New Zealand's coming down to test that very, very low, which is again ADR. We just tested it. So again, accumulation, price discovery, failure. New Zealand dollar Swiss. ADR to the upside. That's a buy. It's gone. Missed it. So again, mean revert that at your peril. This is one we were looking at this morning, wasn't it? So this area here is what I drew in this morning, and I said if we get up to here today, if we got an ADR hit, for example, I would consider a short on that, but it is counter trend. The only reason I'd be interested in a short is the speed this thing has got there. Again, we looked at this one, didn't we? I think this is got quite a good chance of a pullback, but it is against the trend. So pound US dollar dancing on historical resistance support. Yeah, that's why I got out this morning, because we are at support, but bearish. It's difficult to tell what's going on with this US at the moment. This US dollars, it doesn't matter what news we get on the US at the moment. The market's really not happy with the US dollar, so it's a very difficult one to trade at the moment. 15-minute opening range is about to go in. I'll just adjust this one now and all my other charts. So that's the 4 hours covered. So there's the opening range. There's the news. Got about news. 245. There's your services PMIs in. 46 point. I missed it. 46.8. Off of a 46. So positive US dollar. 46.6 off of 45. Positive US dollar. So we should see the indices dropping. And we should see the US dollar pumping. And the pound US dollar dropping. But this is news. The market does what the hell it likes. It's not a particularly big divergence on the news, but it's positive nonetheless. So, this is what I was literally just saying when that news came out. It doesn't really matter at the moment. The market is still unimpressed by anything bullish on the US dollar. But we'll see. We should get a drop on that, really. However, obviously, we're in earnings, so earnings will always trump anything the US dollar is going to do. Inside bar at the moment. Long the Nasdaq. Come on, Dow. Let's see if that Dow can get a break above that high. S&P also pumping the same as the Nas. These two look the same pretty much all the time. So it's really the Dow is the one you get the divergence with, which is the one we want to concentrate on, because if this is looking incredibly weak when we're trying to push, typically the Nasdaq just gives up and drops. So we want to see this run with the Nas, and that'll push the Nasdaq up. Okay, Dale's just taking out the opening range highs. So see if we can get a close above there. If we can, we may well be in for a nice rally. So US dollar is probably rejecting. Oh my God, look at that Swissy. This is Canadian dollar strength coming through now, look. So very strong Canadian dollar. I can't win, can I, with this one? Either the Swiss franc is incredibly weak, or as soon as the Swiss franc looks like it might start to power up, the Canadian dollar goes mental. Just don't want to look at that thing anymore. We'll have a look at the hourly RSI extensions in a minute. So the longs and shorts from this morning from a sentiment perspective are all the same. Pound New Zealand is a short. We've got Euro Swiss, Euro Yen, New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Swiss, and New Zealand Yen, all longs. Strong longs. Euro CAD is also a little bit of a long as well. So to do some move. Not going anywhere though, that one. So literally buy it, get out intraday, buy it, get out. All right, Dow just about managed to get the reversal alert in there. So we've got the opening range break, but want to see if it can follow through on that. I don't trust this news at all. It's positive news for the US dollar and it's coming down. This shouldn't be going this way, it should be dropping, but this is news, so we'll see. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Bank layoff, Washington politics drama, inflation not under control despite Fed assurance. That news just come out, or is that something you're seeing on TV? But yeah, I mean I don't believe the Fed. This is what's making it so difficult at the moment to trade the Fed. It's so schizophrenic what the Fed are saying. It's like we're having a recession. We're not having a recession. We're going to have a little recession. It's not going to be quite as bad. It's going to be a soft landing. Inflation's not quite as down as we thought it was. We are going to put it up by 0.5%. I know, actually, we might do 0.25%. It's like just pick something and go with it, like everybody else. But the Fed are just not playing ball at the moment, which is why we're seeing such weakness in the US dollar. There's no faith in the US dollar at the minute. However, the fundamentals for the US dollar are all good. This is what I mean. We've got good fundamentals for the US. We've also got lots of positive news that keeps coming out for the US, and yet the US continues to drop. I'm just trying to help someone who's got having a problem with the EA. I don't know what that is. Okay, Nasdaq's off. Am I adding? Nope. Oh yeah, I'm taking the second 15-minute range on this as well. So that's 5, 10, 15. So I'll take the 5, 10 next candle as well. So I will add to it after this. Next candle. Right, so let's have a look at where we're headed. Obviously with the Dow, obvious level is Asian highs, or Globex highs as they're called. And then yesterday's high is the other level on the Dow. Nasdaq, we've literally got yesterday's high, is the only target within sight at the moment. Failing that, it's clear sky up to the high. Is that December's high? Yeah, so that's last month's high. So clear sky after yesterday's high. I could have sworn I had yesterday's high-low indicator on there. Oh, I put it on the DAX, didn't I? I didn't put it on here. Did I not save the inputs? Oh, there is no saving inputs. We'll be able to see that. But there's yesterday's high. I expect higher temporary bounce in USA unemployment numbers coming due to the massive financial and tech layoffs. Canada real estate built on sand, defaults on the horizon. Yeah. This is the thing. It's, stop loss to break even on the Nasdaq. Why have I got such tight stops on that? Not that tight. Yeah, I don't know, Franco, what's going on with it. It's we keep hearing that there's not going to be a recession. So Lagarde came out and said that Germany is likely to not go into recession. Everybody's keeping very quiet and very optimistic about there not being a recession, but I can't see it. The cost of living crisis worldwide is getting worse and is forecast to get worse than it is at the moment. We haven't seen anybody defaulting on mortgage payments at scale at the moment. However, we are seeing job layoffs increasingly, and that will lead to defaults. So that's when recession starts to kick in. If prices don't start coming down on energy, etc., then yeah, we're going to go into recession. But they keep saying they're not going to. And yet they keep going. When you look at the fundamentals, they keep saying, oh, inflation is coming under control. It's coming under control. It's not coming under control. It's sitting at 6.5%. Yes, we had a drop, but that's not enough by a long shot. 2% target, yeah, it's 4.5% off. At that rate, we wouldn't get down to there for a good 6 to 8 months. And that is assuming they are going to continue to pump that. As soon as they stop pumping that, this thing's going to slow down. The rate of inflation drop is probably going to slow, which will cause a recession because that will be too high. People won't be able to afford their mortgages. It's, and euro, another 1% at least in the next 2 months. Guaranteed 4.25 minimum on the pound, which just came out today. But that, I mean, we've known about that for ages. I think that's a unrealistic target. I think Bank of England rate will peak at 4.25% in the first quarter. Yeah, that's only the first quarter. That's the next 2 months. I think that's going way higher. I don't see us not getting above 5. Look at our inflation. 10%. We can't sustain our economy on that. And yet when you put that up, it becomes harder. Everybody's in a mess. There's no stopped outbreak even on that NASDAQ. Yeah, I can't believe we're not going to have a recession. But the markets certainly are looking like they think it's not going to happen. Yeah, we've stopped our, the bear market since mid-October has stopped. We have not gone into a bull market yet, though. If you historically look back at this sort of scenario, when we have a bear market, which we don't have very often, and they don't last very long, we don't normally have an accumulation. We just go, it's over, and we're off. This is not the same at all. I haven't got any more data going back. Might have some more in the S&P, actually. No, I haven't. So, this sort of movement tends to be a continuation. So push, accumulation, continuation. We are bear accumulation. That's what I see happening, not a recovery. The world is not in a fit state to recover from this yet. Personally, I don't think. Anyway. Okay, so I have a buy stop back in for a break if that's going to continue. But this is the second 15-minute opening range. So if this is a false move, this second range is designed to get me in that way. Or if it's a pullback, it's designed to get me in again that way and then add to the position. These candles on the Dow and the Nas insane. Yeah, it's not pretty today, is it? We've had a fair few nice opening ranges, so we're due a bit of a choppy one, to be honest, aren't we? And it is earnings season as well. But I think it really kicks off. Earnings kick off tomorrow. Tomorrow's the first big day. We've got Microsoft aftermarket, which will have an impact tomorrow, and then we've got AT&T and Boeing and IBM, Tesla. It's all kicks off tomorrow, really. So, okay, so I'm short Nasdaq. Add for a break of the lows. So, assuming this is a false move, and this is what I was expecting off of the news that we've just had, which was US dollar strength. Yeah, not weakness. So this is now going the way that I anticipated it going off the news. But until we break that low, at the moment, literally all we have is a high and a lower high, which is still bullish until we break this low. And if we just do that, that's when we experience pain. CAD Swiss is coming down, so the Canadian dollar is reversing as well, along with the US dollar strengthening. I'm sure your butler is not doing your shopping. How dare you call my wife a butler? You know the truth about inflation. Yeah, no, I haven't got a butler. We have started shopping differently, as everybody has. Yeah, we've always shopped at Ocado, Waitrose. For those of you that aren't in the UK, those are the posh supermarkets. That's where we've always shopped. And we're not now. We're buying Asda, own brand goods. Because the cost, I think it was, what was it my wife said to me the other day? I think it was a loaf of bread. 55p a year ago, it's 95p now. It's nearly 100% increase in a loaf of bread in a year. When you've got 2 kids and you're buying 5 loaves of bread a month or a week, a month, more than that, that adds up. And everybody's starting to feel the pinch a lot more, regardless of how much money you've got. It doesn't matter if you've got, if you earn £5,000 a year, £2,000 a year, £5,000 a month, £2,000 a month, or £15,000 a month, you're going to feel the pinch of the cost of living, because if you're earning £15,000 a month, you've got a car loan on a Porsche. If you've got £2,000 a month, you've got a car loan on a clapped out Ford something. But regardless, when your cost of living goes up, those payments become more difficult. Your disposable income is always a percentage of your earnings. So if you're earning 15k and your disposable income is 10%, you've got 1,500 quid to spend a month. If you're earning £2,000 a month, your disposable income is 200 quid a month. It's always a percentage, isn't it? Because when you earn more money, you mortgage yourself up to the eyeballs to get the nicer things. The rich people don't get affected as much by cost of living crisis, but middle earners, which I would class myself as, you still feel the pinch a lot. And this is why I don't think this, there's all this talk about the recession not happening. I can't see it. I've got a lot of friends that are not as well off as I am, and they're not putting the heating on. They're struggling. They're not putting the heating on. And they are not buying the luxury stuff at the supermarket they usually get. So I think it's coming. So NASDAQ short, still waiting for that break. I will have a quick look at US dollar CAD. I think I might take one of those off. I haven't actually got a TP on this. We're approaching yesterday's high, aren't we? It's positive news. So I'm going to go ADR with that position. I'm going to leave it on for the minute. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to hold it. As much as I'd like to bank another 1% today, be nicer to bank 1.5. So the other RSIs we've got on the hourlies, I'll quickly run through those while we're waiting for the NAS to decide what it's going to do. Euro Swiss is extended to the upside. Euro Swiss has been a buy. I've been buying this thing constantly. I'm out now. I'm flat on the Euro Swiss, and it's pushed again today, which is great. So I'm waiting for some kind of pullback to get in long on this. I need it down here somewhere before I'm interested again in long in it. So it's extended, too extended. I don't want to mean revert it because it's a long. So it's a long Euro Swiss. It's one of our strongest long. It's the strongest buy out there. Cot positioned long, retailer positioned short. I just want to be buying that. So Euro Pound, I'm long again. It's RSI extension to the upside. It's 125 ADR. So again, I'll be waiting for it to come back here to enter a long again. I'm already long. If it continues, if it just does a push, accumulation push, I'm happy. If it pulls back, I'll get in again and I'll be happy. I don't care. So you can mean revert it. ADR on gold's just gone in as well. That'll be off the back of the US dollar pushing. Again, this is just a US dollar cross. Yeah, US dollar pushes, it comes down. Pound odd we've looked at already. That was a 4-hour extension. It's also extended on the hourly. Pound CAD is extended on the hourly to the downside. Again, this is a sell. I don't want to be longing it. It is a mean reversion. So if you do want to take it from an ADR, take it back up into there. But that's where I would be entering short. Pound New Zealand, again, extended to the downside. That's coming off of that double bottom. Yeah, So we've got tweezer bottoms forming at the moment at the double bottom. It's range bound, as you can see. It's just a horrible, horrible, horrible range at the moment. It has come to life in the last few days, but you know, it's a lovely long where that is now. But I want to be shorting, so I'll be waiting for it to get extended to short it. Yeah, this is the big short. This one, it's a short only. Pound US dollar we've looked at already. Extended, I'm short on this. I'm just wondering how much further this can go really today. Got another 0.5% I can bag. We've just gone short again on the Nasdaq. Okay, so Nasdaq's double bottoms. This is the danger today. Of this could be a nasty whippy session today. So I'm too short Nas. I've got a buy stop in that propulsion gap, which obviously the danger of running these two ranges is you can hedge yourself on choppy days, which isn't always a bad thing because your losses can be reduced. But also, if it is a very, very, very choppy day, you can chop out twice as much and get hurt. So I'm just going to keep a little eye on that today. Yeah, pound US dollar, very extended. And the other thing we've got is US dollar Swiss, which is hit to the upside, obviously, because of the news. So we're just about to get an ADR on that one as well. Pretty volatile today, isn't it? Dow is coming out of the propulsion gap. That's not even a propulsion gap. This is just chop. Look, this is just chop. Be careful today. This is either going to go. We're going to get the US dollar push off the news and it's going to go, or we're going to have a choppy day. If we do, I don't really want to get killed. Costco. It's okay. You're brilliant, not perfect. Yeah. Costco in my neighborhood is always packed. Bang up business. Yeah. It's going to be the way we're going. This is why we've got, I mean, basically everybody in our country at the moment is striking. So I'm just reading something that someone's put in the Telegram group. New York Stock Exchange says trading issue that led to dozens of stocks being halted has been resolved. I haven't seen anything stopping. Is that CNBC? $9.40, 3 minutes ago. Major stock impacted, including Morgan Stanley, Verizon, AT&T, Nike, McDonald's, shown to have abnormally large moves when the market opened. It's just individual stocks halted, so it's not. I don't think that's a major issue. Mm. Just watching this level on the US dollar CAD. We've come off resistance there. It's an old one. This is where I think we're going to head, but this is quite a strong retracement off the back of this. The pound US dollar is coming down as well. So this US dollar strength, pushing up rather, this US dollar strength that we just saw off that news has completely waned. So just watching this for a reversal alert. Just don't really want to lose all this profit. I'd rather bank it and add it back on. Struggling, but don't know. Is anybody else having problems? I'm going to ask this question that you can't answer. Is anybody else having problems with chat in the YouTube channel since I changed the links to the live room? You just click it and just see where it goes. Yeah, you see the links that I sent. Nice. The links that I sent in the group now, they do go to the same URL. It's exactly the same URL. So it's not that. Whoever's saying, or Alan's saying you can't use the chat. Great, I'm long as well. I'm hedged on the NASDAQ. This is a messy session today. Yeah, again, got divergence going on at the moment. These sessions are difficult. Who's in charge? NASDAQ in charge, or is the Dow in charge? Do I want to be long? I'm toying with the idea of closing this position out. NASDAQ, the Dow hasn't managed to make new highs. We've got 3 minutes left. I'm just going to watch this candle close. If the Dow running into that propulsion move there, which has been where they've added over and over again after starting that break, which wasn't a very convincing break, but it's still a break. They are really struggling to get through that level. I'm closing that long. See what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a small loss on this long. I've just been stopped out of that short, basically. This one. I've been stopped out of both of them, haven't I? That was a loss. Damn. It's only $140. Not a lot. I don't like this. This is a buy. I can't figure out what is going on at the moment, so I don't want full risk on. So I'm just gonna play with my stops basically. This needs to either break and go, and that get dragged with it and break, or if that's going to reject and pull back, this is also going to pull back. So I'm going to take a small loss there rather than a full loss, which would be down here. It's just a choppy session today. Kenny, you're buying Dow. Just be aware of obviously this rejection we're seeing here. This is certainly, buyers are certainly not winning at this level. We haven't made a new high on the NASDAQ. Still got 2 minutes to go on this candle. So, I mean, until this candle's painted, this doesn't mean anything, but I hope you're right too, Kenny. I don't really. I hope you're wrong. I want to be short. I want these. The only reason I want to be short, from a completely selfish point of view, is I'm only going to take a tiny little loss on that. And if that breaks and that breaks, we're going to get a lovely flush at the bottom, which is going to give me all my money back on the NASDAQ, at least. And if that flushes to the downside, it also means that my US dollar CAD is going to make profit and my pound US dollar short is going to make profit, because the US dollars, if that comes down here, it means the US dollar's pumping, which means that's coming down as well. So I just want that to come down. Purely selfish reasons, because I've got lots and lots of positions on the US dollar at the moment. Long. My Aussie New Zealand is being completely wiped out. A lot of volatility today. Okay, 10 seconds to go. That's bearish, obviously. So I'm going to just move my stop down underneath that sell stop, because I don't want to stop out on this long unless I'm triggering that sell stop. So basically, it's a stop and reverse. So take your pick. Utter confusion today so far. Pound odd has just hit its weekly. It's the first weekly hit of the week, and we're only on Tuesday. Down at support on the pound odd. So that is the weekly range, 343 pips already achieved. This is Australian dollar strength we've got coming through at the moment. Look, this is strong Aussie. I got up to watch you. Closed all my overnight trades at 8 a.m. Don't like heavy news days. Not skilled in chaos news trading. No, it is a bit chaotic today. If you watch the opening range breakout EA in the strategy tester, you will see quite a few sessions like this. When they're really tight like this, we've got a 60 point range. What we either get is somewhere around an hour or so into the session, hour to an hour and a half into the session, we'll get that break, and the break will go, and we will get a strong move, which is it, and that's it, it's done. Or we get the entire session just kind of being an inside bar of the range. So it's either going to break or it's not at some point. But there's never any. I've done lots of analysis on this, watching this in the strategy tester for months on end. There's no bias because I was looking basically for a bias on the opening move. So when we get these range contractions after the open, we get the choppy sessions. I was looking to see if there's any confluence with the initial move, i.e. we shouldn't really be looking for shorts. If we're going to go into a contraction after about an hour, hour and a half, we should be looking for a long breakout or nothing, or whether or not that was a false move and we get contraction and market structure break to the downside. But there is no advantage either way. It's just hit and miss. ES is a mess too. Yeah, well, ES will be doing the same as the Nasdaq. ES is actually a little bit more horrible. It broke out more deeply, didn't it? So it's taken out all highs and lows, whereas at least the Dow had the respect to do a double bottom. But it's coming down now. So I'm short, stopped out of the long. Tiny loss on that one. It was only that much. Going short again. This is the problem I've got now. I've got these two range high and range low, which are very close together. I really need some strength in one direction or the other, because if this candle closes within this range, I'm going to have a pending order there. What I don't want to do is just get hedged on this with a chop like that. So like that, exactly like that. So pending orders back in on the opening range one high. I don't really want to take that at the moment because I'm short, but the market has got no direction. So I don't know which way it's going to go. So really I should take that, because if it's now going to do that, I want to be on that trade. If it's going to do that, I don't want to be in either. But I need to have a direction, don't I? US dollar CAD completely wiped out. Pound US wiped out. Aussie New Zealand wiped out. Everything is just completely reversing on the initial moves we just had at the open. 125 on pound odd. Collapsing. Australian dollar. I'm going to close this Aussie New Zealand out. Something's going on with the Aussie. The Fed looks keen on raising Fed fund rates to 5%. We expect 25 rate hike next week, followed by another 25 in March and May. Yeah, we know. We got Aussie, New Zealand CPIs. So I'm not sure I want to be in this after this move. This is such a strong move on this New Zealand, on this Aussie. We've got the potential for fundamental shift on New Zealand and Aussie, depending on what these CPI figures come out as. We could have quite a big move on the fundamentals. Obviously, the inflation is going to have an impact on the interest rates. So if we get a big change on the inflation, we could have quite a shift on the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie New Zealand is a -6 at the moment, mainly because we've got COT positioning on side. So we've got the fundamentals at the moment for the Aussie New Zealand helping us be short, along with COT positioned on our side. If these fundamentals on the interest rates change, we could literally lose those and they could flip the other side and we could be going back up into here. In which case then I don't really want to be short Aussie New Zealand. So I'll give it this candle on the hourly. But if this is what's it going to cost me above yesterday's high? $100. Yeah, I'm going to put my stop up there. Aussie dollar Swiss has hit its weekly as well. Really strong Aussie move. So I'm just going to put my stop up there above yesterday's high. It's got a bit of breathing room, not a lot. If this is going to push, I'm not going to take the chance that we are going to get this in our direction off the CPI figures. Could go either way, so I'm not that brave. Nasdaq's sitting there looking like it's got no idea where it's going. I'm in danger of wiping myself out today, aren't I? On this Nasdaq. It's not a happy bunny today. Franco, I'll wait 2 hours after the open to find the real bias for the day. Yeah, hour and a half. You don't need to wait 2 hours. An hour and a half. You will have it. 80% accuracy. So the 1.5 hour opening range, which I haven't got drawn in on either of these. It will be drawn in on this one when we get to it. I think I've got the 1.5 in. Yeah. So 1800, which is there. Just off the chart. So you see it in the next candle goes in. But by the time you get to that, there, you will either have the high or the low of the session. Pretty much guaranteed after an hour and a half. With an 80% accuracy. So, which that line there. That doesn't give you a bias for the day. What it gives you is an 80% accuracy that the high or the low of the day's in. Still don't know which way you're going, though, do you? Because at the moment, there is no direction. So it doesn't actually help a lot of cases, I find. Possible push above 108.45. Aussie New Zealand with the news. Well, yeah, I mean, the CPI, we'll get an ADR. I'll be very surprised if I don't wake up in the morning and we haven't got ADRs on New Zealand and Aussie. Think about what's going to happen tomorrow morning on the Aussie New Zealand. There's 3 scenarios that can play out. We can either have positive New Zealand and positive Aussie, yeah, in which case we're going to get them sort of cancel each other out. We can have one going one way and the other going the other way, or obviously vice versa, and we will have a massively strong move in one direction on the Aussie New Zealand, or they are going to both be negative, or both, you know what I mean. There's 3 things that are going to happen, isn't there? 2 of them mean that. One of them means either that or that. If we get like if the Aussie CPI figures come out as a big positive and the New Zealand come out as a big negative, Aussie New Zealand's going to fly. But for me, if Aussie comes out negative and New Zealand comes out positive, this thing's going to tank, and I'm going to be waking up with $450 of profit. Oh Christ, I'm hedged on the Nasdaq. Oh, this is a mess today. I'm going to stop trading. I'm going to let one of these play out, or both. They'll either both stop me out, or one of them will work, and then I'm going to stop this. Nas is a nightmare today. It's not. It's just going to hedge. Just going to hedge and basically lose everything. So I'm not going to trade it anymore today. I either need to see 2 or 3 massive candles and in some direction, or I'm scrapping it. It's a waste of time. Just going to lose money. Aussie dollar yen, Sancho. I don't have an opinion on the yens at the moment. I want to be shorting the yens. So where this is at the moment, I would say is a nice potential short. This is one of the few that has actually completely retraced its propulsion move back to origin. So we're basically reset back to the 19th of December. So I don't know where we're going from there. The yen intervention is happening regularly, which is obviously driving everything down against the yen. However, tomorrow morning, you've got the CPI figures for Australia. They will be what will decide which way this goes in the next 12 hours. I don't know what the figures are going to be. So, you know, if you ask, put a gun to my head and say, which way is Aussie yen going? I couldn't tell you. It's a 50-50 shot. What are the CPI figures going to be? So if you're trading it intraday, you've got a potential double top happening right now. So wait for that reversal alert and jump in short. If you're trading it anything longer than intraday, red or black, based on CPI, up to you. There is no way of knowing where that's going with a major news event. The three things that drive the market: inflation, interest rates, and unemployment. One of each of those has the potential to fundamentally shift the direction of a currency from long to short for anything up to 3 to 6 months. So tomorrow morning, it could be a completely life-changing event for the Aussie. So, you know, if you're going to position trade it, don't. If you're going to trade it with a stop loss, good luck. You've got as much chance as everybody else. 50-50. It's going to go one way or the other. I don't know which. Nasdaq's just a nightmare today. Look at it. This Dow's broken out the highs, look. So you've got to say at the moment I'm more long than short. So I'm going to reduce my risk down to $50 on this. And I'm going to go with the Dow, because that is the only thing that's actually got any clue as to where it wants to go today. So I'm just going to go with the assumption that the Dow is going to manage to push the Nasdaq up. However, all it's managed to do in the whole hour and a bit we've been on so far is get up to that Globex high and lose. So it's just a wet, damp squid this afternoon. It's not even a Globex high. It's just not doing anything, is it? More fun watching paint dry. Alan, I didn't think hedging trades was allowed on my Forex funds. Yeah, you can hedge. Do what you like. I don't know of any prop firms that don't allow you to hedge. We're going short. That means a maximum stop out, unfortunately, but if it is going short, that is. Yeah, no, I don't know of any prop funds that don't allow you to hedge. You can't hedge on futures, but obviously any in the US would not be able to allow hedging. Yeah, brokers, that is. I don't think there's any prop funds in the US, is there? I don't think they're based in the US. They might have offices in the US. Like brokers, the prop firms are a bit of a loophole, aren't they? Rule 3: long short arbitrage is not allowed. Yeah, arbitrage is not hedging. It's nothing to do with hedging. Arbitrage is a completely different thing. You can't do arbitrage anyway. They're talking about high frequency trading. You can't. That's a different thing. It can mean multiple things, arbitrage, yeah, but I don't know. I've been hedging on my Forex fund since I've had accounts, and that's over 18 months, and I've not ever had any flags or anything about going long and short. Arbing, yeah. I mean, arbitrage, I suspect what they are classing as arbitrage is going long and I don't know what they're classing it as. It's a bit of a, I mean, a typical arbing is you go long on the pound US dollar and you go short on the pound yen just before news comes out on the pound. One of those is going to move further than the other because you've got the US and the yen, who are going to give different strength to that pound trade. And you basically bag the difference between the two when it becomes positive. But they tend to be done by high frequency bots. Brian, I get FICO strikes from my broker when I try to hedge. Yeah, you will do. Brokers are not allowed to, but this is not a broker. This is a prop firm. It's a totally different thing. And we're not in the US. I'm not in the US, so I don't know. I've never had a problem. I've hedged in here. I've been hedged in here on this account. I've been hedged in here and the previous account. This year so far, I must have been hedged 10 times, 5 times. Don't know. I'm always hedged. I hate it. But if you think about it, I'm not actually hedged, am I? Yeah, I'm not hedged. Look, this is changing. I'm not hedged. If I was hedged, that would be sitting at 57.01 and it would not change. That's not a hedge. And again, what is a hedge to them? Yeah, I am long 1.49 and I'm short 1.16. So my bias is long, not short at the moment. Yeah, it's the FIFO rule that prevents hedging, as Yarmus just said. So I don't know a massive amount about it because it obviously doesn't affect me. I'm in the UK, and none of my brokers that I've ever traded with have ever had FIFO rule, and I've never had FIFO rule because I've purposely chosen brokers that don't have that rule. And if I was in the US, I would just use a broker overseas and get around it, as everybody does. There's always a way around it. If you've got a $30,000 pot of cash and you go to a broker and say, I don't want FIFO, they'll go, okay, sorry, sir, we can't take you. Have you got an overseas branch? Yes, in Singapore. Excellent. Could you put me over there? You've got 30,000, you say, sir? No problem, sir. I threatened to leave Axie because they turned my account into a pro account. It was their rule, their regulation. They turned around and went, oh, yeah, okay, no, you can stay. Why? Because I make him a shed ton of cash. There's always ways around everything. You just have to be clever. I know in the US they've got way more rules than everywhere else. Oh, Dow, for crying out loud. Got to stay this. Do you know what? I've had enough. I can't be bothered with this today. It's just a utter crapshoot. It's not doing anything. So I'm going to deactivate the EA as soon as this one of these is out. I'm not going to take any more positions. So either that is going to work or that is going to work, or they are both going to stop out. One of those three is going to happen. And then I'm just turning the EA off. I'm not doing this anymore. Pointless. This market hasn't got a clue where it's going today. So. Everything else is so Aussie New Zealand's just pushed up a little bit more. So we're above my resistance line. is my entry. So if we're going to run, so at the moment we're just running the Asian highs. Next stop is yesterday's high, which is a double top there. So so it's a double top. It's not really a double top, is it? It's a resistance bounce, basically. So obviously there's liquidity sitting there. So it would seem that that's probably what they're going to do. So I'm hoping they double top it and then pull back. And then if I can still be in this before the news tomorrow, fantastic. If this goes and pushes all the way up there, I don't want to be in this, because if we get positive Aussie and negative New Zealand news, I'm just going to go flying into drawdown on this. So I don't want to be in it. Everything is pointing short on it, but I'm not going to risk it. Not worth it. And everything else is just flip-flopping, isn't it? At the moment. Main problem is CAD Swiss, which again is completely schizophrenic today. Where's that going? Nowhere. So we've got another 15 odd minutes until 1.5 hours up. And I can guarantee you either the higher or the lower the day's in. By then. Shocker. Dow's pushing again. So we are going long. It does want to go long by the looks of things. Money talks. It does talk. It's amazing, you know, like when you go to a broker and you get off of the B book, i.e. when you start making money, they suddenly stop taking the other side of your trades. You suddenly get things happening. You know, so on my Axie account, it takes usually about 6 to 8 weeks before they realize that they shouldn't be taking the other sides of your trades because they're losing money. And then they suddenly go onto the A book, and all of a sudden, terminal starts freezing, spreads get a little bit wider, and you phone them up and go, what's going on? I'm not getting very good favorable terms here from you. And all of a sudden, you know, they become very accommodating because they want to keep your money, but they also realize at the same time they're making about a third off of you than they are of everybody that's losing money, because they're taking the opposite sides of their trades. And then things get better for a while, then they get worse again, then they get better, then they get worse. Then you move to another broker and everything's absolutely fantastic for a while, and then the same thing starts to happen again. They don't want traders that make money, because all they ever make from you is either a commission, and if they don't charge commission, all they make is a spread. Whereas when you are losing money, they're making whatever you're losing. So if you've got a 2K account and you put it into a broker and you lose it all, they make 2,000 because they're taking the opposite sides of your trades. That's what they do, because they know that 80% plus of their customers lose their balance. 80% of customers lose 80% of their balance within, it's actually 90. 90% lose 90% of their balance within 90 days. So if you knew that statistic, as brokers do, you would just take the opposite side of every trade you take, because you're going to get 90% of that 2K, aren't you? As soon as it goes the other way and I make 2K, they lose 2K. They don't want you because they can make very little money out of you. They make money every time you press the button. But if you know what you're doing, you don't press that button very often. I don't take many trades, do I? So I don't earn them any money. So then they don't really want you as a customer because you're just a pain. And you just move from B book to B book to B book broker until you've used them all up, and then I go back to the start again. But that's the thing with prop, is you don't seem to get any different conditions with prop firms. So I'm now long. Again, I'm going to cancel. Well, there's no point cancelling it off, but So if this, we're going to put another order in here. I'm going to just cancel that off because I don't want to go short again. And if this now just flip-flops here and stops out, I'm just done. I can't be doing this, playing around in here today. I can buy gold to put in my pocket, but can't trade it. No, gold's a nightmare. Gold is a tricky beast. I haven't looked at oil today. What happened to oil? Oh, dropped again. Again, this is just stuck, isn't it? We'll try to get this new high in. Can't get there. Trying to get in long on this, but I'm not getting in long all the way up here. I want to be down here somewhere. If we can get an RSI to the downside, I will potentially take it because we'll be double bottoming again. But it's not very happy today, is it? Look at this thing. Aussie New Zealand's back in profit. US dollar CAD's gone into a loss, so that's really moving that US dollar down. So stop loss is reduced. Just take that self stop off. So this is your 1.5 hours. So again, one of the other strategies that I'm looking at, again, it's on my list. If you take 50% of this range that we've put in the first 1.5 hours, which is that there, okay. If by the 1.5 hour mark we are above that, only look for long positions. So if you're looking for a bias for the day on a choppy day, I would say we're not there yet, but if we are here, I'm looking for longs today. If we're below that, we're looking for shorts. Brian, the whole prop firm thing reminds me of binary options craze a few years back. No, that was a con. Binary options was just a con. I can vouch for prop firms not being a con. There's a good 50k in my account that proves they're not they're not a con. You just need to know how to trade them. That's the thing. It's just the con, if you call it a con with the prop firms, is the fact that you can't keep them. As soon as you understand that you are not going to get a 200k account and keep that account to trade with for the next 3 months, you suddenly realize how to use the money. And it's just basically it's a business, treat it like a business. It's all you've got to do. So if a proper valuation costs you $300, yeah, if you take 10 of those, you've spent $3,000. Yeah. If out of those 10 you pass, I don't know, 2, 3, let's say you pass 3 of them. If one of those 3 you can trade to more than 3,000 in profit, you are a profitable trader. That's the way you use it. I've spent over 15,000 on proper valuations with multiple firms in a month and drawn out more than double. That's how you use it. E8 is one of the best ones for doing this with, because E8 you can pass in one day. I can go with the opening range breakout EA, and I did this. I can go and pass an evaluation on in the day. So I morning session pass phase one, afternoon session pass phase two, funded in the evening. The next day, make $5,000. Don't touch it. Never touch that account. It's cost you $300 or $500 to get that account. You've made $5,000 on it. So you just wait until the withdrawal day comes and you take that $5,000 out. And then you do the same thing again. You trade it. And if you're lucky, you'll have a good day and you'll make another $3,000 or $5,000. You stop, you take it out. Yeah. And then you keep doing that until you blow the account, and you will blow it within weeks. But it doesn't matter, does it? In a business, you have expenses and you have income. Yeah. That's an expense. The amount of trades that work for you out of the funded accounts become your income. Your income is very much decided by luck, because if you, for example, today started an evaluation with a 1% risk, you're probably blown the account. You've got a 5% daily drawdown. You've probably blown it today. If you'd have started it on Thursday last week or Friday last week, we've had nothing but flying opening range breakouts that have returned amazing profits. If you'd have started on Thursday last week, you'd probably be drawing 8 to 10 grand out of the prop firm. Yeah. Whether you pass or fail prop, a lot of the time decides on the day that you start the evaluation. I started this evaluation over 10 days ago. I'm sitting on 4%. It might take me another 10 days to pass this. I might blow it in the next 3 days. If CAD Swiss decides to go parabolic on me, I'm going to take a 3 or 4% loss on it. I can't do anything about that, can I? If CAD Swiss goes parabolic that way, or Aussie New Zealand tomorrow morning goes parabolic that way, I'm going to bank 3 or 4%. I'm going to pass. Yeah, it's not down to me whether I pass or fail a proper valuation. It's down to the market and the buttons I press on each individual instrument. I haven't got control over that. Just the way it works. Long on the NASDAQ now. And as soon as you realize that you can't do that, there is no trader that I have ever come across that has never drawn down on their account by 5% or 10%. They don't exist. It's part of trading. You are not going to have any account that you want. It doesn't matter whether it's $100 account or $100,000 account or $1 million account. You will draw down by 10% on it and you will blow that evaluation. My own money, you've seen me in the live room, if you've been in here for any period of time in the last 2 years, you've seen me sitting in 15 to 20% drawdown on my account. I come out of it every time. But that's because that's trading. I can't get it right all the time. I'm going to get it wrong. Prop firms know that. And they know that most people will get it wrong most of the time, because the statistics are 80% of people lose money. You just need to know how to play their game. And those people that get paid out of prop are paid by the ones that lose. Sorry about that. Not my problem. But they do pay out. They do pay out. Don't worry about that. If that's your reticence anyway. But there's also, I mean, there are some dodgy props out there, I guess. But so NASDAQ, we are, right, so Dow, we have now just done the Globex highs. So I'm long, obviously, on the NAS. Second entry long is going to be on the opening range breakout of that second 15-minute. So I'm going to add into the position there. And hopefully that will spur the Dow on to ADR, which is yesterday's high, and we'll get that nice break out the top. And that will hopefully pay for some of this crap that we've had since the open. Aussie dollar, US dollar. On my fib is at 50%. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Daily chart. Don't know, maybe that was an old thing, but it's broken out the highs now. Prop firm trading can be great, but very stressful. I'm an old man, leave me alone. Yeah. Better to put 3,000 into your personal account. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, Franco, unfortunately. If you put 3K into your account, all right, the average profitable trader will return somewhere between 10 to 15% on their account a month, if they're good. So on that account, you're going to make somewhere between $300 to $450. Yeah. $3,000 buys you equivalent of 1 million in prop funding power. Yeah. If I can make 1% on that, I am earning way more than $400 a month. Yeah. You've got to get past the evaluation. But as soon as you get past the evaluation on a 100K account, yeah, if you drop your risk from 1% to 0.25%, for example, and you carry on trading the same way as you were to pass that evaluation, and you only make 2% instead of the 8% you had to do twice to get through that evaluation, you're suddenly making $2,000 a month instead of 300 to 450 by making 10 to 15. I've got to make 2% to make $2,000 instead of 10 to 15 to make $450. So if you've got 3,000 to start trading with, do 3 evaluations with 3 different firms. Practice. It's going to cost you $900 maybe, or whatever. But that's $900 well spent, in my opinion, because you're trading real money as far as you're concerned. But you've got upside potential to actually make a living out of it. But it's obviously you only get 80% of it. You don't get it all. But 80% of $2,000 is still way more than 15% of your 3K account. It's just changed the way that people trade. What I think it's done, which I don't think is a good thing. There's your opening range high. So this blue line here, so if I take that fib off. Yeah, so that blue line is now your 1.5 hour opening range. So that indicates that either the high or the low of the day is in. We don't know which it's going to be yet. But as we're above the midline on it, I would say we're probably looking more for longs and shorts at the moment. And obviously by what the Dow's up to. What was I saying? Oh yeah, about prop. Can't remember what I was going to say about prop, but yeah, that's my take on it anyway. But yeah, so what I think it's done, which is negative for the industry, is it's taken everybody down onto M5 and M15 because they need to pass prop fast. They set these 5-day and 10-day limits as you've got to trade a minimum of 5 or 10 days. The problem with that is it turns you into a scalper because you need to get that 0.5%. Well, no, you need to get that 1% a day to 2% a day. Because if you've got to do 8% in 5 days, you need to be doing roughly 2% a day, don't you? So how do you get 2% a day? Certainly not by trading the 1 hour charts. It's too slow. 4 hour, no chance. Daily, you're not going to pass it in 30 days. So what it does is it drives everybody down to the chop. And the chop is where you get either lucky or not. And they know that. So that's what it's done, is it's driven everybody into short time frame trading. Which is hard, obviously. Ben, what indicator you use or EA? All on the website, Ben? There's a link in chat. I use lots. There's a course on how I trade. All the strategies I trade are in there. And all the indicators I use are there. And the EAs I use are all there. I can't explain it now because there's a good 60 hours of video on there. explaining it all. Too long to cover in one live session. Ladder. Well, I mean, the prop firms also have the profit split. Yeah. But, you know, the profit split as well is dubious. Some prop firms, you know, there is no way of knowing, unless you're an insider in a prop firm, whether you are actually really funding people or not. And I think it works in a very similar way to brokers. When you pass a proper valuation, you do not get a live account, I don't think, with virtually all these prop firms. What you get is an evaluation account where they actually start paying real attention to how you passed your evaluation and see whether or not you continue with the same style of trading when you pass. So for me, I'm taking opening range breakouts. So there's a footprint in my platform with them that says this guy always trades at 8 a.m. on the DAX, and he always trades the NASDAQ at 2:30 in the afternoon, UK time. And he always trades within the first 15 minutes. Now, if I get a prop account and I continue to do that for a month and produce a profit, that is when I think you go into their pot of portfolio. You are a strategy. They are trading on behalf of their investors. That's what they see you as. I don't think you go onto that straight away, because I can go into EA right now, get an account today, and I can hit the short button with 2% risk now on the Dow. And if that collapses today, I'll pass the evaluation. I'm not a good trader. That's a total gamble. And if I do that twice, I've passed and I'm funded. Do you think they're going to give me 100K of real cash after having 2 gambling trades which happen to work out with 100% strike rate? Exactly the same odds as a casino. Of course they're not. How about having 2 evaluation accounts and gamble on both of the same pair? One short, 50-50 chance, one long. Yeah, well, you try that, Sancho. What have I just done in here today? Long and short, long and short, long and short. What's the outcome of that been? I've lost all of them. Now, you could hit the buy button and the sell button with 1% risk. Okay, but the danger is this one goes into drawdown by 5%, blows the account. Yeah. Sorry, that's the wrong way around. Let me do that again, just to make it totally clear. You take a trade, yeah, long and short at the same time on 2 different prop firms. If the price moves up and you go into 5% drawdown on the short, you get stopped out, the account is blown. If you don't take that 5% profit on that one, and it then goes down to here and hits that and drops 5%, you've blown that account. So what you've just done is blown 2 accounts. It's got to get 8% in one direction or the other. It's got to do that twice as well. So what you actually need is a lucky shot in one direction, which you're going to get. And on the second time, you've got to get it right again. Chances are you're probably going to get that one wrong. And that's going to blow the account. Yeah. Good theory, good strategy, but go and try it. Try it with the very small accounts. Try it with 10K accounts that are only going to cost you like $130. Yeah, that is gambling, as Franco's just said. It's exactly the same as going to a casino and going red or black. You've got to go red or black twice. In fact, you've got to go red or black 3 times, right? So go into a casino and you've got to go red or black 3 times. So if you go long on the DAX, go long on the DAX and long on the DAX 3 times in a row, phase 1, phase 2, funded, and it happens to go long all 3 of those days, good job. Look at a daily chart. Yeah. And this is what I was saying earlier to you, right? Whether you pass an evaluation with most people is not dependent on anything but the day you take it. If this day you'd started your evaluation and you went, I'm going to go long every single day at the open. Well done, well done, well done. Evaluation phase 1, phase 2, pass. money. Excellent. Withdraw that money. You're a winner. If you'd have done it this day, phase 1 pass, phase 2 pass, real account, blown. Unlucky, back to phase 1. Yeah, if you'd have done it this day and gone long, you'd have failed, blown, start again. Yeah, do you see what I mean? Whether you start on that day or that day is the difference between a pass or a fail. If you are risking 1 to 2% a trade, which is way too much for any strategy, you're in the lap of the gods as to whether or not it goes up or down on the days that you're doing it. You get 3 of those in a row, pop, you're dead. Which is why my risk, you will always see, is around about 1/4 to 0.5% at the most on any trade I take, because you've got to keep this thing within 5%. Not easy. And they know that. They know that. That's why they say you can pass within 5 days. And EA say you can pass today. Excellent. Right. Well, I'll just go 3% long. Oh, that didn't work. I've got 2% left. I'll go 2% short. Oh, that didn't work. I'll start again. Thank you very much. There's another $300. You try that. You do that 10 times wrong in a row. You've just lost $3,000. Can't do it. It's too dangerous. David Anderson is it's worse than gambling. 50% chance, only true if the trade goes straight up and straight down. Yeah, if it chops around, you lose. Exactly. Like 00 on the roulette wheel. Yeah. It is just gambling. Which prop firm is this? This is my Forex funds. This one. They're all the same, pretty much. Mohammed, regarding hedging, I trade only outside previous days' highs and lows. If I set the parameters to multitask basket trading, would it still open hedging buy trade above previous day's high? No. If you're using you're talking about the opening range breakout EA, if you're using yesterday's high low as a filter, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. If you're using yesterday's high low as a filter, God, where are they? That's in 4, isn't it? Trade only outside yesterday's highs and lows. It will only short above the highs and long below the lows. Dependent on your position trading strategy and whether you're using stops or not, the next day it will do whatever the hell it likes, because it will depend on whether it trades above the high or the low of the previous day. So yes, you can hedge, and it will hedge. Anything you're going to do, this EA is so configurable. Anything you're thinking of doing, just stick it in the strategy tester and watch it in visual mode. Watch what it's doing, because there's so many different logic combinations. It's impossible to tell what it will do, but it will do what the inputs say at the end of the day. So, talking on general Kaftan, what? Risk management will be on your lap. Is Funded Next a good prop firm? I don't know. I've never used them. I've never used Funded Next. I've been trading with them for some month now, and I haven't had an issue with them. My only fear is it's relatively very new. Yeah, a lot of these firms are new. A lot of them are new, and a lot of them go pop very quickly, which is why I use established ones. It's the same as anything. If it looks too good to be true, it is. If a prop firm comes along and they've got rules which you think, wow, that's easy, it's not going to last. Usually. You don't need any other prop firms. You've got FTMO, you've got My Forex Funds, you've got EA, you've got Funded Take Profit Trader for futures. They've really revolutionized the futures side of things. NASDAQ is just killing me today. So yeah, there's a lot of firms out there, but there's enough out there. You don't need any other prop firms. If you're going to use one, in my opinion, use E8 or my Forex funds. Why would you not use the two biggest ones in this place? FTMO. Use the big boys, because there's plenty of people getting paid, and they've been around a long time. Their business model is refined. It all works. So why would you choose funded next? It's like saying, I've got a Ferrari and I've got a BMW. I've had them for ages. There's a new sports car manufacturer come along. This is the first car they've ever made, and they've got no experience in engineering. Why would I buy that, and why would I even get in the thing? I'm quite happy with the established car brands that have been trading for 100 years with high quality equipment. Why would you use someone new? There's no need. They're all the same price. They've all got pretty much the same rules. There's literally no reason to use anybody but a major established firm, in my opinion. Unless they've got an advantage. The reason I like E8, I never thought of using E8. I've been my Forex funds for Forex for ages. E8 came along, and the only reason I went with E8 was because I can pass in one day. They have no minimum requirement. And I was like, this could put a real edge in my favor, because if I just dump $1,000 into evaluations in a day, I'm pretty sure I'll come out of one of them funded. And if I blow my account, I haven't got to wait 10 days to get my money back, which you do. So if I blow my evaluation account, I've got to go through, with my Forex funds, I've got to go through 2 5-day evaluations. Assuming I can pass in 5 on phase 1 and phase 2, that's 10 days before I get my money back. So if I have a 100K account and I blow it, it takes me 10 days to get my money back. That's 10 days I'm not making money. With E8, if I have a 100K account, I can get it back this afternoon. That's a big advantage. It costs me more money though. E8 is more expensive. It's only $50, but 5 evaluations, it adds up. It's another $250. On a 100K account though, it's one trade, so it doesn't really actually pales into insignificance, doesn't it, really? You go to sleep, Franco. Good luck. Yeah, I will try and get my bag. I don't think I'm going to get anything today. I really don't. I think this market is just in full I hate you mode today. Look at that. It is an inside bar, admittedly, but it's still bearish. It's still bearish, isn't it? I'm not holding out much hope for this. This is my last trade. If this one stops out, I'm off by it. I think one way to see if your broker is dodgy is to look at the charts on different platforms. You could do, yeah. I don't know why would you think a broker's dodgy though? What is looking at a chart going to tell you about your broker being dodgy? The only thing your broker can be dodgy about is spread. If they're quoting completely different prices to everybody else, yeah. But then you would get a demo account and test that before you. I think people over worry about stuff in this industry. Yes, in the olden days when we started doing digital trading at home, there was a lot of dodgy brokers around. If you're off quoting these days as a broker, you're not going to have any customers. You might pick up 1 or 2, but no one's staying with you if you off quote. We've got things like TradingView, which is totally free. Google. I can go to Google right now and verify whether or not the NASDAQ is trading at 118.47. I know it is, but that of the olden days makes me feel old, yeah. MT4 was only 2 years old when I started trading. FTMO has been hawking me for weeks. Email ads everywhere. Yeah, FTMO again. They're all good firms, and this. The reputation thing with prop firms is destroyed by the people that throw their toys out the pram when they lose their account. And they lose their account because they break a rule and they don't pay attention, or they're stupid or something. It's not anything else. I've had with Apex, no, this is not with Apex, with Lilu, who's a futures prop firm I used to trade with, Lilu. And I lost one of my funded accounts because they closed out all of my positions wrongly. So I emailed them and said, you just shut on my positions. I am absolutely nowhere near my daily loss limit or account loss limit. Why have you shut my positions? And they said, oh, really sorry, we had you on a different size account. That immediately told me that I wasn't trading real money. So I left Lilu. But I got the account back. And it's if you're clever and you know what you're doing, you're not going to have a problem. It's the people that get a 100k account and they go to 5.001 in drawdown, their trades get shut, and then it spikes higher and they go, you just do, and they start going mental at people, and they don't take into account the commissions and the spread and everything. All of a sudden your account gets, all your trades get shut, and you're like, well, I was only 4,700 in drawdown. I should have not been shut out because it's 5,000. And you go, oh, well, you only had $400 worth of commissions in there as well, which you didn't take into account. And then they shut up. But the Discord channels and the Telegram groups for the prop firms are full of people moaning, and they're just idiots because they don't know how to trade. And they think they can just get a 100k account and become a millionaire. And it's just not going to happen. You've got to do it slowly, or you've got to gamble. And then as soon as you've done the gamble, then you've got to go slow. Problem is, if you start gambling, it's difficult, isn't it? EA, yeah, I've got to do 12% to pass, no, 13% in a day to pass an evaluation. Yeah. Show me a trader that can sustain a 13% a day return. I don't know anybody that can do it a week. But if you do it in a day, you suddenly think you can do it the next day. So you try again. That's when you blow it, because it's never going to happen. You might be lucky. There's people drawn out 30k plus out of V8 by gambling. Amazing. All the statistics are in the back end of EA. It shows you how the people passed evaluations in less than 2 minutes. Phase 1 passed in 40 seconds. Phase 2 passed in 60 seconds. Funded. Do you think they keep their accounts? No. But for $200, it's a good gamble, isn't it? Anyway, that's prop. This isn't going anywhere. I've got $18 worth of risk on it. I'm turning off the EA. It's I'm not interested today. Either that trade is going to work or it's not. It's not doing anything. It's just completely inside bar on the opening range. So I've had enough today. He's taken 0.3% out of my account, and it can keep that and rack off. Everything else is doing okay. So CAD Swiss is starting to come down. Chop, it's just chop everywhere, isn't it? Apart from the Aussie. But that's pulled back as well. So we pull back into that propulsion gap. Accumulation, break. It looks like they're adding at the minute on that. So everything is just kind of sitting, not in profit, not in drawdown much, and sideways. Apart from CAD Swiss is the only thing I've just got over 0.5% on that. So nothing else I can really bank today. I think I just got stopped out in the NAS, did I? Oh no. Did small money just disappear out of my account then? No, I was just, I thought that was more than it was for some reason. It wasn't. So yeah, so basically, I'm just going to hold that NASDAQ long, and either that's going to get me back a few $100 on a move up. Yesterday's high, I think I'll probably take half of that off at yesterday's high and just bank that. And then the second part will obviously trail once I get into it, if it goes. other than that, I'm not interested in the indices today. And I'll come back. Ladder broke even for today. Yeah, very difficult to make money today. Too much chop. But yeah. So I'll see how this lot plays out. So just be careful if you've got any Aussie or New Zealand on. I've limited my risk to $150 on the Aussie New Zealand short. I haven't got any other Aussie New Zealand pairs running, and the EA, just to remind myself what I've got set up on the EA. Aussie New Zealand. So I've got New Zealand dollar CAD as a long, which I'm not going to get into because RSI's got to be extended on that. So that's it. So I'm pretty safe. Aussie New Zealand's the only thing that's going to potentially affect me tomorrow. And obviously that I just get the feeling I'm going to be out of this by the time. If this goes up any more today, I'm going to be out of this by the time the news is out anyway. So that's the only thing I want to trade, the Aussie. Franco, true story. My cat jumped on my keyboard, opening a trade, got 10 pips before I knew about it. Cat got a slice of roast beef, then I shut down all auto functions. Yes, that's why I don't have a cat. The dog's done it. I've been sitting on the oh my god, my brain. FOMC. When FOMC is happening, obviously it happens 7 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. So I'm usually sitting on the sofa with my laptop next to me and the dog on my lap. And I've been sitting there looking to trade on FOMC. And the dog's basically done a stretch and knocked my hand. And I've basically just gone long just before FOMC. And it went up, which is great. But yeah, the dog's traded for me, but only the once. But yeah, dogs sleeping, rolling over and just basically kicking you when you're hovering over. And especially because I've got a Microsoft Surface, so it's a trackpad. And so it's really sensitive. You know, if your finger's hovering above it and you get nudged, that's it, you're in. But yeah. Anyway, so that's all doing nothing. So I'm just going to sit and wait and see what happens with that. NASDAQ, either going to work or it's not. Aussie, New Zealand, either going to work or it's not. Everything else is position trade. So I will sit in all of this and wait and see. So good luck this afternoon. If you're in any of this, you got as much chance as anybody of making money this afternoon. It's either going up or down, or it's just going to range and not go anywhere. So I have very little risk, and I will be back tomorrow morning for the DAX. So we'll have a look at what's happened with the Aussie New Zealand, and trade the DAX tomorrow morning. We've got earnings obviously overnight to be aware of as well. So we've got Microsoft. So tomorrow we've also got pre-market on those three. So we've got a pretty busy afternoon, I think, on the NASDAQ tomorrow. Today, obviously, we had all of this pre-market, but none of this was NAS. So I think a lot of this pushing and pulling is probably to do with this. There's not really been any movement on any of these. General Electric's pretty range bound. Johnson's come down, not a lot. Verizon's got it's all push and pull. There's no earnings that have really shocked the market yet. So, but when we do get some that shock the market, we'll have a big old opening range day. So, all right, have a good one, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time, trading the DAX rather, and we'll have a look at the Aussies. So hopefully you have a profitable afternoon. If you need me, I'll be in the Telegram group. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow.